Hey guys, my name is John Bark and I'm a representative of Orissa. Here today we have in this presentation an outline of some of Orissa's drone policy. The policy was put in place and voted on by the citizens of Orissa. We are a pure democracy, so everybody had their own input and formulated their own ideas on what would they feel comfortable with as far as drones go. So here we go. The first thing we have outlined here is the private use of drones. Orissans voted to allow the private use of drones in public areas, but not within 5 miles of airports, government buildings, or military bases. This is just for the safety of our citizens and as well to protect our airspace. We can't have drones anywhere near our airports that could cause potential accidents. And this is also put in place to protect us from any potential terrorist threats. Also, all private drones are to be shipped with a GPS system and are to be registered on an online database. The GPS system and the registering of drones is put in place so that everybody is held accountable for their private use of drones. It is also against the law to occupy any airspace that is considered to be private property. Unless you have consent from the owner, so businesses would have to check with you, mail services, any of this, any business of that sort would have to check with you first if they could occupy your airspace and have scheduled deliveries. If there is a drone in your airspace that does not have consent, the owner is authorized to disable the drone or report it to the OAA, the Orissa Aviation Administration. So what this means is that if there's a drone flying unauthorized around your home or on your private property and you don't want them there, you can report them and get them out. Lastly, drones with recording capabilities are to be disabled in residential areas and around schools. Obviously, this is put in place to protect the privacy of our citizens and to ensure the safety around schools. So next thing we have outlined here in regards to drone policy is national defense. We have 3 main points here. The first one is border security. Orissa uses drones as a form of border security to alert nearby officials if they see something out of the ordinary. The second point is in regards to our military. Orissa's drones have nuclear capabilities, although we wish to always remain neutral in times of war. The Department of Defense decides what measures we take against other countries. Orissa will use drones as the primary source for any military actions. We also have an anti-drone system along the border to protect from other countries' strikes and surveillance. It is also illegal for the Orissan government to target its own citizens living abroad with drone attacks. And lastly, here we have in regards to espionage. Orissa will allow the use of drones on other countries as a form of surveillance. And that is that as far as national defense goes. The next leg of our policy that we have here is the government's use of drones. It is illegal for the Orissan government to use drones for surveillance purposes on its citizens unless someone is considered to be a potential threat. This action does require a warrant to do so. This is to protect the privacy of our citizens and ensure that everybody is ensured a fair trial. Drones with recording capabilities are allowed in public areas, but any data collected may not be shared. This is also to protect our privacy so that the government isn't sharing any of our privacy with potential companies that might not have our best interests in mind. So lastly, we have here is the commercial uses of drones. Businesses are allowed to use drones for delivery purposes. This entails things such as like Amazon or any type of mail carrier services. They're allowed to go into your airspace as long as they have your consent to do so. Businesses are allowed to use drones as a form of security and surveillance system. Businesses are allowed to share businesses are not allowed to share or use any data for marketing purposes. And lastly, businesses must register drones for commercial use and be thoroughly inspected before making any deliveries to ensure public safety. So we want to make sure the package that you actually ordered is actually that item you ordered. So We don't have any tampering issues, and no one's trying to hijack any type of drone. So this really protects us from any potential terrorist threats or anything of that sort. So that just about finishes up Orissa's drone policy outline. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation, and thanks for your time.